The fluctuating legal landscape surrounding former President Donald Trump's speech rights saw yet another turn as a federal judge in Washington reinstated a gag order in the 2020 election interference case against him. The order, briefly lifted by U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan, was reimposed following assertions from prosecutors that Trump's recent online statements could potentially intimidate witnesses, specifically targeting his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows. The judicial tug-of-war over Trump's freedom to speak out against the case had been temporarily halted by a U.S. Court of Appeals panel in D.C., granting Trump a momentary reprieve to express his disdain for the proceedings. However, Judge Chutkan's action on Sunday signaled the ongoing tension between Trump's First Amendment claims and the court's prerogative to maintain the integrity of the judicial process. Trump's lawyers, undeterred, are seeking an emergency stay from the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit, arguing Trump's right to speak truth to oppression. The defense contends that the gag order is an overreach that stifles Trump's ability to criticize prosecutors and, by extension, is a silencing attempt by his political adversaries. The narrative constructed by prosecutors paints a different picture, one where Trump's prolific social media presence and sharp-tongued rebukes pose a real threat, potentially swaying witnesses and impacting the jury pool. This contention is supported by the nature of Trump's posts during the brief lifting of the gag order, which prosecutors assert contained thinly veiled threats aimed at Meadows, who has reportedly been granted immunity for his testimony before a grand jury. Trump, in classic fashion, took to social media to decry the reinstatement of the gag order, labeling it not constitutional and indicating his legal team's intent to challenge the order. His campaign, steered by the narrative of being the victim of a politicized justice system, has been utilizing these legal skirmishes as fodder to rally his base ahead of the 2024 presidential race. In parallel, Trump is grappling with another gag order in a civil fraud case in New York, where his speech was not only curtailed but also resulted in a financial penalty after the presiding judge declared a violation of the imposed restrictions. This additional legal constraint further complicates the former president's public communication strategy as he continues to wage war against what he perceives as a witch hunt. The legal battle over the gag order is emblematic of a larger conflict playing out in the public and legal arenas. On one side, there's a justice system attempting to navigate the unprecedented scenario of prosecuting a former president, who wields considerable influence over public opinion. On the other, there's Trump's aggressive defense strategy that frames the legal actions against him as politically motivated attempts to silence and discredit him. This dynamic situation leaves the public and the courts in a precarious balancing act. The courts must safeguard the fairness of judicial proceedings while also respecting constitutional rights. Trump, for his part, seems keenly aware of the power of his platform, using every opportunity to fortify his narrative of persecution. As the case proceeds, and the appeals court considers the gag order's future, the tension between maintaining judicial integrity and upholding free speech principles will continue to be a critical issue at the heart of these proceedings. The judges of the appeals court, though having paused the gag order, have emphasized that this action is not indicative of any judgment on the merits of the case. It remains to be seen how the appeals court will rule on the order's appropriateness, with the future of Trump's public commentary hanging in the balance. The legal chess game continues with high stakes, not only for Trump's future public statements, but also for the broader implications such decisions may have on the intersection of free speech and the pursuit of justice. As the courts grapple with these issues, the nation watches, awaiting clarity on how the judicial system will manage the unique challenges presented by a former president who remains a potent political force and a defendant in multiple legal actions.